All right, so this is the cylinder head for the 300. Now the 300 I have is rebuilt. I question the quality because they use different bolts on the, for example, on the flywheel, different mass bolts. So like that's a little bit weird because that's, of course, that's a rotating assembly. A lot of effort goes into balancing it. Now, granted, they're close to the center, but there's just some weird stuff going on here. So, for example, this is a used head, and you can see the wear on the valve, and then you can see that line. So they put like an explicitly used head on their rebuilt motor that was just supposedly, you know, broken in and ready to go. Yeah. Can I help you? And you can see this is all kind of nasty carbon schmoo, and so that's not from just being broken in. I mean, this was run. And to be honest, the valve guides aren't great. Like they're not explicitly loose, but you know, they're just a tiny bit. And of course, when it gets warm, it'll expand. And this actually has bronze valve guides, and the bronze will actually expand more than the cast iron will, but they should take up a lot of that, you know, whatever slop that there is. So I've woke up today and I chose Violence. So there's a couple of valves that were in pretty decent condition, and so I lapped them, put them back together, and I marked them as good, sealing, good enough. Now there are a couple of these that are really bad, and you cannot see. So the seat for both of these valves actually look pretty nice. So, and that one's covered in lapping compound. So it's not exactly concentric. So you can actually see it's a little bit darker on one side than the other. Kind of on the left there, it's a little bit darker. But we don't really have the pitting issue that we have on the valve. So those seats are pretty decent. Now, what you could do is, you know, maybe you could go to the auto parts store and purchase a replacement valve, and then just lap it into the seat and get a nice seal. Maybe you go to, you know, Rock Auto and you know, purchase a valve for about $2. Or now you can see, of course, there's still pitting on that. So we're not, you know, we're working on it. But what I was doing with this is I was just running the file, okay, up on the surface of that valve and just kind of pushing it flat so I don't lose that angle too much, and then just spinning the drill. So we're just, I mean, this is not exactly a good head anyway. It's used and it has miles on it, so we're just gonna do some of this and see what happens. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've seen worse, and you have. This is a good idea. Go ahead, hit the dislike button. YouTube ain't no snitch. All right, and you can see before and after. that surface is so reflective, I almost feel guilty when I see my face in the reflection there. Now, you can see there's maybe a little bit of pitting left, but I'm bored. So I'm actually going to try and lap it in, and I'm going to see how completely off that angle is now. Let's see what happens. Focus, you fuck. This is the exhaust valve after it has been lapped. Not too bad. And you can see we pretty well were able to cut through all the pitting. Not terrible. And then this is the seat. Let's see. You can see it's, it probably doesn't show up worth a crap on camera, but it's pretty smooth and even. So now this intake valve here had some pretty bad pitting on it. And so this is what it looks like before it's been lapped. It's just been run with the file. That's kind of fun, isn't it? And this is one here, an exhaust valve. And you can see I'm about maybe 3/4 of the way there, and you can see the surface is smooth and flat and how deep those pits are into the surface. And that's more metal than I could remove lapping. Look at all those. Disgusting. I found that if you run the drill slower, you actually, the job gets done significantly faster. When you run the drill fast, the file tends to skate off of the surface. It's actually when you run the drill slower that it actually gets a chance to dig in and really remove some metal. So you definitely don't want to go too quick. But yeah, we're definitely we're gonna give this a try. So these 3 valves have been done with different files. Now I'll start with a coarser file. Something like one of these 2 on the right, and you can kind of see the grit there, and you can see the finish it leaves on the valve. And then this is one of the other files that I was using, and you can see I think that file is maybe just a little bit finer, and so it produces a slightly better finish. And then once I'm done doing the bulk of the cutting, and I think you can see that the file on the right is maybe a little bit coarser. But so once I've finished doing the bulk cutting, obviously that surface is too rough. Then I come in with this file right here, and you can see how fine that is. That's very, very, very fine. And it leaves me this surface here. And so you can kind of compare those 2 surfaces, and you can see that's pretty shiny. It's pretty good. And so I was just going to show you the comparison. That one's pretty rough. And so that's just, this is rough just to remove the bulk of the material, because it removes the material a lot faster with the coarser file. And then once we've dug through all the pitting and that the groove there, and we've gotten a nice flat surface, then we just come in and kind of polish it up with the flat file, and then we can get to lapping it in. So I'm on the last 3 valves, and perhaps you can see too, I've polished this surface. I used a razor blade a few times and some Scotch-Brite, and I got it a lot brighter than it was.
So this is super crazy dangerous. That right there is Balin Mania, and we are going to do something really stupid today. This is a terrible idea. Balin might die. It's making me uncomfortable. Go, Balin!
You riding this?
What the fuck is happening?
Balin said not to talk crap about this camera. It's a piece of shit.
This is so unbelievably sketchy. Why would you put me through this, you jerk?
That's the power of really old engineering.
It'd be nice if it didn't kill me. It's not required.
I felt that fucking pop.
Make a wish, everyone. Make a wish. Not okay. You went too far. This guy, man. This guy.